numbers and words, and how to use graphs that combine numbers and words to communicate in their jobs. I've written 3 business books. Today, I want to give you a peek into my newest book. This one is for kids, and it's called Daphne Draws Data, a storytelling with data adventure. I'm going to read you the first few pages. Daphne was a dragon who loved to draw. She drew everything around her, trees and birds and mountains and rainbows. The more Daphne drew, the happier she felt. Daphne also enjoyed drawing something a little unusual: data. Data is information you can use to understand something better. Daphne liked to turn numbers, her favorite kind of data, into pictures called graphs to answer questions and help others. Data, shouted her older brother Declan when she showed him her latest masterpiece. Dragons don't do data. Dragons are fierce. Everyone is afraid of them. But Daphne didn't want to be scary. She wanted to be liked for being smart and kind. So she left her cave in search of a place where she could be herself. Daphne started in the jungle. Ooh, ooh, eek, yelled a monkey as it climbed up a tree. I'm not dangerous, Daphne shouted back. Just because I'm a dragon doesn't mean I walk around breathing fire. The monkey popped out. Hi, I'm Daphne, the data-drawing dragon. I'm traveling the world in search of friends to help. Suddenly, she was surrounded by monkeys. Someone's been eating all of our bananas, said one. Daphne looked around. Under each tree, there was a pile of banana peels. She counted them and wrote the numbers in her notebook. Then she drew the data. The question I want to answer is, where are the most banana peels? I'll draw a line that's called the horizontal x-axis. There are 5 trees that have banana peels under them, so let's draw those next. Looking around, there are a lot of peels on the ground, so I'll make a key. 1 banana peel drawing stands for 5 actual banana peels. There are 5 peels under the first tree. That's 1 banana peel drawing. The second tree has 30 peels underneath it. That's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 36 banana peel drawings. Let's quickly add the rest. Now that I've drawn the data, let's use it to answer the question. Which tree has the most banana peels under it? Do you know? That's right. The second tree has the most banana peels. That must be where the problem is. Not only was that picture fun for Daphne to draw, but it also helped her to learn something new. Let's talk a little more about graphs, because it turns out that drawing them is not only fun, but can be super useful too. We'll use one of Daphne's favorite things, something that kids typically really enjoy too: crayons. We'll start with a single crayon. What can we describe about it? We could say things about the height. This shows how much of the crayon we have left to use. We could comment on the color. If we add another crayon, now there are more observations we can make. We can talk about the height of the first one and the second one, but instead of 1 color, we have 2. And in addition to the height of the first crayon or the second crayon, we can also see the difference between the heights of the 2 crayons. And it turns out that this can be a really useful thing. I'll take away those lines, drawing your attention to it, but notice how easy it is still to see that that blue-green, or teal, crayon is taller than the pink one. We have more of the teal crayon left to use and less of the pink crayon left to use. And the crayons, like the stacks of bananas we saw earlier, are lined up at the same place. It turns out our eyes are really good at making comparisons when that's the case. And it's especially cool because you can do this not with only 2 crayons, but with many. Let's put some more crayons up here. How many do you see? Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crayons. Even with 7 crayons, it's easy to make comparisons. The teal and purple crayons we can see are the tallest. That orange crayon is definitely the smallest. We must have used that one a ton. There's not much left to use. We could also order the crayons from tallest to shortest. Looking at these crayons is just like reading a graph known as a bar chart. Let's make it look a little more like a typical graph. We can add a horizontal line on the bottom. That's known as the x-axis. We'll also add a vertical one at the left side. This one's called the y-axis. Now, that's where we can put the numbers on my graph. The tallest crayon's almost 8 centimeters. I measured it. So I'm going to label my graph by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8. I'll add the letters cm at the top, so I know this stands for centimeters. Back on the horizontal x-axis, these are where my categories go. In this case, we're looking at colors. So I'll add those words, purple, teal, blue, and so on. I'll also add a title there, color of crayons, so that anybody else looking at my graph knows what we're looking at here. And while titling our axes, our data, and our categories is a good idea, it's also a great idea to add a title to the graph. This helps make it clear what we're showing. In this case, the heights of the crayons show us the amount of crayon that's left to use. Now, usually when we're making a bar chart, it's not made up of crayons. Oftentimes, it's made up of rectangles. So I'm actually just going to draw some rectangles over those crayons because it's those that'll show us the respective values. Now that we have that, we can take the crayons away, and now these rectangles are what we can compare. This is a bar chart. Notice it's just as easy now to see that the purple and teal crayons have the most left to use. In fact, looking at it this way in the graph, I can even see that there's a tiny bit more purple left to use compared to the teal. There's definitely the least of the orange. And that's the kind of information we can learn from a bar chart. Where there's more of something, where there's less, and also how the bars compare to each other. In addition to that, we could even compare them to where we'd like them to be, or our goal. For example, if our goal is to use the whole box of crayons at the same rate, we should color more with the tall crayons and probably avoid using the orange crayon until the other colors can catch up. Let's look back to Daphne's banana graph from her jungle adventure. That was actually just a fancy bar chart. The tallest one showed Daphne and the monkeys which tree the most bananas had been eaten from, leading them to the banana thief. Now, if a dragon can draw data, you certainly can too. Here's an activity that you could try. Eat a rainbow. Pay attention to everything you eat in a day, noting its primary color. Count how many foods you ate by color at the end of the day. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, white, and brown. List these in the notebook on the left. Then draw a bar chart in the notebook on the right to show how many foods you ate of each color. Then you can use your graph to answer things like, Did you eat foods from all the colors of the rainbow? Which were the most common on your plate? Were there any that were missing? You'll find worksheets like this that you can download and print, plus additional activities like coloring sheets, step-by-step instructions for drawing Daphne or drawing a bar chart, plus support for teachers and parents at daphnedrawsdata.com. Daphne's graph showed us the problem tree, but what did Daphne and the monkeys find there? For the answer to that, you'll need to read Daphne Draws Data. It comes out this September on September 4th. And again, you can go to daphnedrawsdata.com in the meantime to find all sorts of good stuff, including ways to get access to the electronic version of the book even before September 4th. We also have some fun giveaways and additional activities, as I talked about. So that was quick, even a little quicker than planned, to talk about how graphs are fun and useful. Thank you for learning with me today.